Coolest spells. What does that even mean? Spells that you use not because they're great or anything, but because they look cool or do something amazing. This list will be totally arbitrary and biased towards classes I play most, but I did try to include some from other classes that I thought were cool. Number 20 on this list will be Chain Lightning. Now, I have kind of a thing for lightning-based spells. Whenever I play a new game, if lightning is available as a magic type, I take it. My fascination with lightning spells comes from the PSP game Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, where one of the main abilities is to just shoot crazy amounts of lightning at people. I can't explain why I like it so much, but I always prefer to be a lightning mage in Skyrim, and it's the reason I chose Falstad as my first hero to play in Heroes of the Storm. That all being said, Lightning Bolt looks super lame. Its old school effect was much better. Number 19 will be Power Word Barrier, because it looks cool. You see, I'm not really going to go into that much detail on the other spells on this list, because the reason most are on here is because they look cool. That's why I have 20 on here instead of the usual 10. Now, number 18 is Moonfire, because it looks cool. Okay, you know what? I'm going to consult the thesaurus and just use words from there. Number 17 is Execution Sentence. It looks absolutely marvelous. Just a giant hammer slowly falling down until it explodes. Number 16, Eye of Kilrog, which is very fascinating. A great way for getting footage of mobs close up when Farsight is taking too long to be updated since it can't attack or aggro mobs. Number 15, Bladestorm, because it's just great being a spinning top of destruction, and it looks totally zero cool. Because apparently zero cool is a thing according to this thesaurus. Number 14, Mutilate. This is just a personal favorite of mine, because when I was a new player, I thought it was awesome how rogues could attack with both daggers at the same time. Very prodigious. Number 13, Summon Abyssal. It's just so whiz-bang how it's the closest thing to actually summoning a meteor in the game, which is always awesome. Number 12, Avenging Wrath, especially with the glyph that gives it more wings. Makes you look like an angel of anger or some shit. Number 11, Halo. Halo has always just looked really cool from the get-go, but it looked a little better in Mist when it was slower. Nowadays it's pretty fast and goes about its effect quickly, but it still looks visually appealing, or very stupendous. Now into the top 10. Number 10 will be a spell no longer in the game, and that's Star Shards. Star Shards is 100% of the coolest dot ever put in the game, since every time it ticks it sends down a shard. Star Shards is sadly no longer in the game though, and it was a Night Elf Priest racial, because class-specific racials used to be a thing for priests. Number 9, Thunderstorm. I literally made my shaman for the sole purpose of thunderstorming people off the middle of the map in Eye of the Storm. My shaman's name is I Send You Flying, so you know I'm not making this shit up. It's fun as fuck, go try it out. Number 8, Rogue Swirly Ball. Now this is on the list not because it's a particular cool looking spell, but more because of the history behind it. Basically, rogues had this ability called Detect Traps, where when they used it, it would allow them to see traps. But Blizzard changed the on-use spell to a passive, which made using the swirly ball animation impossible. Rogues complained and moaned about this change for years, to the point where it was kind of a meme in the WoW community, until Blizzard finally gave it back to rogues in the form of a minor glyph with the same visual and effect it Mist. Number 7, Mist Frost Orb. Frost Orb underwent a few changes in its life cycle since its introduction in Cataclysm. Its first form was super lame. It was just an orb that shot a little mind flame effect at nearby crap. But in Mist, it underwent a major change into Awesome Land, where it went out, it shot a crap ton of mini frost bolts in a Bladestorm-esque fashion and was very intimidating and flashing. Nowadays, it looks more like a calm storm of frost. I mean, it still looks pretty cool, but Mist Frost Orb was more wild and crazier, which made it the best Frost Orb. Number 6, Glyph of Inspired Hymn, specifically the one that worked with Hymn of Hope. Hymn of Hope is sadly no longer in the game, and the glyph was introduced in the last patch of Mist, so people only really got to use this combination for one patch. What it did was just give giant ass wings to your hymns, which combined with Hymn of Hope's giant ass blue volleyball made it look even cooler. I mean, you can still use the glyph with Divine Hymn, the priest equivalent to Tranquility, but it just doesn't look as cool. Number 5, Army of the Dead. Before Stampede, the only spell in the game where you could summon an army to fight for you. Really made it feel like you were playing the Lich King, especially when it still hit crazy hard and had a 30-minute cooldown. Number 4, Stampede. For most of the same reasons Army of the Dead is cool, only Stampede is better because Hunters are obviously the superior class. Number 3, Jade Lightning. At the start of Mist, I had zero interest in leveling a monk. I do not care for melee classes or tanking one bit, and I already had a couple of other healers at max level. But then one day, I saw a monk use his green lightning ability in a low level BG, and I thought, that is the coolest thing I have ever seen. I need to level a monk right now, and promptly started leveling a monk. Then I got bored because you don't get the spell until like the late level 40s, and I really didn't like playing a melee class. And that's the story of how I almost leveled a monk because of Jade Lightning. Number 2, Eyes of the Beast. Another spell, sadly, no longer in the game, because Blizzard just hates fun. The cool thing about this spell was that it lets you take control of your pet and actually use its abilities and attack. I have fond memories of using it on a cat to sneak into and scout out places in AV without fear of being found out like a rogue, since raising a dead pet was really easy. And finally, the number 1 coolest spell in Warcraft is Ice Block, because Ice Block is the coolest spell. Get it? Cool. Like in Frozen. Yes, I totally put it number 1 to make a lame pun. The entire list is arbitrary anyway, as everything is based on subjective opinion. I mean, look at how many pre-spells are on this list. Okay, and that's it for this video. If you think there are any other cool spells that should have been on this list that I forgot to put in the video, go ahead and leave a comment on it for the next 3 years, because you're going to be doing that anyway.